The cause of death for Mr. Gene Hackman, aged 95 years, is hypertensive and atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease, with Alzheimer's disease as a significant contributory factor. Autopsy examination and a full-body postmortem CT examination demonstrated no acute findings of internal or external trauma and showed severe heart disease, including multiple surgical procedures involving the heart.
In a startling courtroom revelation, Leslie Anne Hackman, the daughter of acclaimed actor Gene Hackman, claimed that the public narrative surrounding my father's death was a fabrication. As she spoke, the atmosphere in the courtroom shifted, thick with tension and disbelief. This raises a crucial question. Were the deaths of the legendary actor Gene Hackman and his wife manipulated or concealed? What critical details did the investigators and FBI overlook? Who orchestrated the cover-up? Stick with us until the end of today's video to unveil the mystery behind the passing of this Hollywood icon. When Leslie Anne Hackman found herself staring at the medical investigation records laid out before her, she doubted the shocking information they contained. Her father, Gene Hackman, had been diagnosed with severe Alzheimer's disease. Furthermore, he had suffered multiple heart attacks in the past, a revelation that was completely foreign to her, something she had never heard mentioned, never envisioned, and, most critically, something she had publicly denied to the media. Yet now, the irrefutable evidence surrounded her like an inescapable fog. From the outset, Leslie had maintained that her father was in perfect health. He was still alert, lucid, and showed no signs of illness, she had confidently stated to the press. My father was still reading books and was fully capable of driving. However, the medical reports depicted a starkly contrasting reality. The examination results indicated that Hackman had been grappling with severe progressive Alzheimer's for at least 2 years prior to his passing. The signs of his memory decline were not unfamiliar to those who were close to him. He often forgot the names of old friends and even lost his way home, despite having lived there for over 10 years. Some former housekeepers disclosed that Hackman occasionally failed to recognize his own wife, Betsy Arakawa. However, the most alarming aspect was his cardiovascular health. The investigation report confirmed that Hackman had indeed suffered multiple heart attacks in the past, a fact that had never been disclosed to the public. A doctor who had treated him included a note in the file stating, "Patient has a history of heart attacks and shows signs of severe coronary artery disease." It remained a mystery why the family chose not to disclose his medical condition. If Hackman was truly this fragile, why was Leslie unaware of it? Once this information became public, the media quickly challenged the credibility of Leslie's statements. As someone who had always professed a close bond with her father, it seemed implausible that she wouldn't be aware of his health condition. Yet oddly enough, Leslie appeared to have no knowledge of Hackman's illness, or perhaps she chose to ignore it. Some reporters speculated that Leslie may have been physically distant from her father during his final years, so much so that she failed to recognize the signs of his illness. A hospital insider disclosed that Leslie never visited Hackman during his treatment. An anonymous nurse shared, "She can say whatever she wants to the media, but the reality is, we never saw her at the hospital." This raised further questions. Why did Leslie present another narrative about her father? Why did she conceal Hackman's health issues? If he truly suffered from Alzheimer's, how could she have been unaware? Or was it that she refused to confront the truth that her father had long ceased to be lucid? Stay tuned until the end to uncover all of these mysteries. But before we continue, please take a few seconds to subscribe to our channel, All Pro Flies. Thanks a lot. One theory proposed that Leslie might not have been the only person attempting to conceal the truth. Certain reports indicated that Betsy Arakawa, Hackman's wife, controlled all details regarding his health. She was reportedly his primary caregiver during his final years and had full authority over who could or could not contact him. A neighbor once remarked, "I haven't seen Leslie around for at least 2 years." The only person consistently with Gene was Betsy. Thus, this suggested that Leslie wasn't being dishonest, she simply might not have been aware of the truth because she hadn't been present with her father during that period. However, this raised an even larger question. Why was Hackman so secluded that even his own daughter was unaware of his condition? When this story made its way into the press, it sparked widespread controversy. Was Leslie truly a devoted daughter who loved her father, or was she more concerned with safeguarding the family's image? Some questioned whether this was a classic case of a celebrity's family striving to preserve an idealized memory of their loved one while completely denying the harsher realities. Currently, Gene Hackman fans are experiencing 2 different streams of opinions. Some argued that Leslie was genuinely unaware of her father's illness because Betsy had intentionally concealed it. Others, however, believed Leslie chose to ignore the reality, unwilling to confront the image of a Gene Hackman who was no longer the strong figure he once was. Why did she insist her father was mentally sharp when medical evidence clearly contradicted her claims? Did she truly maintain the frequent contact with Hackman that she professed? And most crucially, was there an undisclosed secret tied to Gene Hackman's deteriorating health? Regardless of the answers, one fact remained indisputable: the legendary Gene Hackman was no longer the man the world had admired. In his final years, he was a shadow of his former self, battling a relentless illness in solitude within his home, while the public continued to believe he was doing well. The news of Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, passing away sent shockwaves through Hollywood. The loss of a silver screen icon was devastating, but what truly captured public attention was the mysterious nature of their deaths. Authorities initially depicted the case as suspicious, a term rarely utilized in natural death investigations. Speculation quickly arose, leaving many to wonder, was this an unfortunate coincidence or something far more sinister? While Gene Hackman's passing could be attributed to his declining health, Betsy Arakawa's death raised far more questions. She had no history of cardiovascular issues, no serious health concerns, and no underlying conditions. Nevertheless, the forensic report revealed she succumbed to an extremely rare rodent-borne disease, leaving the medical community stunned. A CDC doctor claimed, "This disease is so rare that we hardly ever see anyone contracting it in the United States." Even more baffling was the fact that Betsy lived in a pristine, luxurious mansion, an environment where such an illness seemed nearly impossible to contract. The mystery deepened as investigators delved into Betsy's final days. They uncovered an unusual detail: she had been completely isolated. No friends or family visited her, there were no recent hospital visits, and her phone calls went unanswered. Delivery workers also mentioned that the front door was rarely opened. This raised a haunting question: how did she contract the disease? Could someone have deliberately introduced the pathogen into their home, or was it an unwanted accident? These unanswered questions ignited a storm of media speculation. Among the turmoil, Hackman's death only deepened the mystery. Following his wife's passing, Gene Hackman became almost entirely reclusive. His previous housekeeper had resigned, and for weeks no one had any clear idea of what was happening within his mansion. The forensic report revealed that Hackman died in complete isolation, with no one by his side and no evidence of medical attention in his final days. This starkly contrasted with the image his family had previously portrayed. Who then was the final person to see Hackman alive? A postal worker had noticed a growing pile of mail at his door, yet no one came to retrieve it. Surveillance footage from nearby cameras showed no activity, no one entering or leaving the property in the 3 weeks leading up to the discovery of Hackman's body. If Hackman indeed suffered from severe heart disease and Alzheimer's, as the medical report suggested, why was there no medical staff attending to him? One theory emerged: someone may have exploited Hackman's isolation to ensure he received no assistance during his most critical moments. But who would do such a thing? And more crucially, what could their motive have been? Investigators swiftly honed in on several unsettling details. Both Hackman and his wife had lived in unusual seclusion. Why would a couple with such deep ties to Hollywood suddenly vanish from public life in their final months? Neighbors disclosed that they hadn't seen anyone entering or leaving Hackman's home for weeks, a sharp departure from his prior behavior. Hackman, once known for his friendly chats with neighbors, had seemingly disappeared from the world in recent months. But it doesn't stop there. In fact, during the investigation, investigators discovered that there were no medical records documenting Hackman's medical care. If he truly suffered from severe heart disease and advanced Alzheimer's, as indicated in the medical investigation report, why was there no evidence of his treatment? No new medications, no visits to doctors, and no records of nurses or caregivers appeared in his financial history. The mansion's security system had been deactivated. Investigators spotted it had been turned off for at least 3 weeks prior to the discovery of Hackman's body. Who disabled the system? And more importantly, for what reason? Was Hackman left alone following the death of his wife? The deeper the investigation went, the more it seemed that these deaths were far from coincidental. The public started to demand answers: who had a motive to isolate both Hackman and his wife? How did Betsy contract such a rare disease? And why was Hackman seemingly abandoned during his final days? There has been a theory that all the tragedies that have happened to Gene Hackman and his wife may have come from this famous Hollywood actor himself. Accordingly, Gene seemed to want to hide something terrible in the Hollywood film industry, but he himself did not expect that he would have to pay dearly with his life. For an extended period, Hollywood has served not only as the global capital of film, but also as a complex labyrinth filled with power struggles, ambition, and unsettling secrets. Icons from earlier generations ascend to the heights of fame, only to vanish without a trace, sometimes due to a decline in their popularity, but often for reasons that remain shrouded in silence, unspoken by those around them. Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa made the decision to flee the Hollywood scene, opting for a life of seclusion away from the limelight. However, one must wonder, did they truly manage to escape the unseen forces that manipulate this vast entertainment industry? More crucially, were they aware of certain truths that the influential figures in Hollywood preferred to keep hidden from public scrutiny? An anonymous insider once disclosed that Hackman and Arakawa sought to sever all ties with Hollywood not merely to relish a tranquil retirement, but also because they had inadvertently uncovered some significant truths. They had become privy to information that could be dangerous for them to possess. This assertion, circulated through hushed whispers within the entertainment community, ignited a flurry of theories. But what exactly was it that they knew? As a cinematic legend, Gene Hackman was not just a gifted actor, he also had numerous connections with powerful individuals within the industry. He had attended exclusive parties and overheard conversations that the average person would never be privy to. Perhaps, in the twilight of his career, Hackman began to piece together the disparate fragments of information, leading him to uncover a startling secret. Or maybe he witnessed something firsthand, a reality that no one wanted him to expose to the world. Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa were certainly not the only prominent figures to exit Hollywood under mysterious circumstances. Throughout the years, there has been a troubling series of unusual deaths within this glamorous yet treacherous industry, deaths that continue to leave the public with an abundance of unanswered questions. For instance, Stanley Kubrick passed away unexpectedly shortly after completing his film Eyes Wide Shut, a project that many speculate was intended to unveil the hidden secrets of the powerful elite. Similarly, Brittany Murphy and her husband Simon Monjack both died under peculiar conditions, with the official reports attributing their deaths to pneumonia. However, a significant number of people believe they may have been poisoned due to their knowledge of potentially dangerous information. Additionally, Isaac Cappy, an actor who openly criticized the sinister forces operating within Hollywood, was later found dead in circumstances that raised many eyebrows and sparked controversy. Could Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa be linked to this unsettling series of mysteries and untimely deaths? One significant point that set Gene Hackman apart from many of his peers was his apparent independence from the underground forces that often manipulate the entertainment industry. Unlike many of his contemporaries, he did not align himself with powerful groups or become a mere pawn in any established system. This independence may have rendered him a potential threat, someone who could possess sensitive information and might be willing to expose the truth if he found himself pushed to the edge. So, could this be the reason behind his and his wife's abrupt departure from Hollywood? If these theories hold any validity, it raises the alarming possibility that someone may have taken action to silence Hackman before he had the chance to speak out. The implications of such a scenario are deeply troubling, suggesting a darker underbelly to the glitzy facade of the entertainment world, where the pursuit of truth can come at a perilous cost. The shadows enveloping Hollywood extend far beyond mere mysteries of power and manipulation. They often weigh heavily on those who remain, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions for those left to grapple with the aftermath. For Leslie Anne Hackman, the tragedy that befell her parents represents not just a profound personal loss, but also a permanent scar that lingers without fading. The public is rife with questions. The pressure from family members is palpable. The media is relentless, never allowing the story to fade into obscurity. Leslie finds herself caught in the tempest of public opinion, becoming the focal point for some of the most pressing inquiries. Does she genuinely know nothing about her father's deteriorating health, or is she intentionally avoiding the truth? Is she concealing a much larger secret, or is she merely a victim caught in this enigmatic narrative? Regardless of the answer, this incident has profoundly shaken Hollywood and irrevocably altered the course of Leslie's life. Leslie Anne Hackman, Gene's daughter, once asserted that her father was in perfect health prior to his passing. However, the medical report revealed a starkly different reality. As the case of her father's death reached a boiling point, Leslie was compelled to testify in court. She never imagined she would one day stand before a judge to address questions surrounding her father's mysterious death. Every word she spoke was scrutinized and analyzed with great intensity. Each of her actions was placed under a microscope of public opinion. Yet, amid all the skepticism, one undeniable reality remains. Whether Leslie was aware or not, She lost both of her parents in the most peculiar manner. This emotional pain is genuine, and it manifests as a wound that nothing seems capable of healing. Leslie faced not only the relentless pressure from the media and public scrutiny, but also from her own family members. Some relatives believed she had been too indifferent and too emotionally distant from her parents during their final years. Others harbored suspicions that she held back more information than she was willing to disclose. Leslie herself found herself torn between conflicting emotions. Should she feel guilty for not visiting her parents more frequently? Could she have taken steps to avert this tragedy had she recognized the signs earlier? Did she genuinely believe this was merely a series of unfortunate, random events? These questions not only originated from the outside world, but also reverberated within her own mind, haunting her thoughts each night. Some conspiracy theories even suggested that Leslie might be entwined in this dark narrative, whether knowingly or unknowingly. What if she possessed more knowledge than she was willing to admit? The public continued to inquire. Did she receive warnings from her parents that she chose to ignore? Did she overhear unsettling conversations from Hackman or Arakawa yet fail to pay attention? Or was she perhaps coerced by some unseen force to maintain her silence? While these notions remain speculative, there is no concrete evidence to suggest that Leslie was involved in any conspiracy. However, the undeniable reality is that she has become the focal point of all suspicion and intrigue surrounding this tragic saga. This burden of doubt will likely follow her, shaping her life in ways she may never fully escape. Although Leslie is grieving and is grappling with many doubts surrounding her father's passing, Leslie has every right to be proud of Gene Hackman's illustrious acting career legacy. Gene Hackman, a titan of American cinema, has left an indelible mark on the film industry with his versatile and powerful performances. Over a career spanning more than 4 decades, Hackman has portrayed a wide array of characters, from hard-nosed detectives to charming con men, and from ruthless villains to inspirational coaches. His breakthrough role came in 1967 with Bonnie and Clyde, where he played Buck Barrow, earning his first Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor. This role set the stage for a series of memorable performances that would define his career. One of Hackman's most iconic roles was as Detective Jimmy Popeye Doyle in The French Connection 1971. His portrayal of the relentless, street-smart narcotics officer earned him his first Academy Award for Best Actor. Hackman's ability to bring depth and authenticity to his characters was further showcased in The Conversation 1974, where he played a paranoid surveillance expert, and in Unforgiven 1992, where he won his second Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for his role as the morally complex Sheriff Little Bill Daggett. These performances highlighted Hackman's remarkable range and his talent for creating nuanced, multi-dimensional characters. In addition to his Academy Awards, Hackman has received numerous accolades throughout his career. He has won 4 Golden Globe Awards, including the prestigious Cecil B. DeMille Award for Lifetime Achievement in 2003. His performances in The French Connection and Unforgiven also earned him BAFTA Awards. Hackman's ability to seamlessly transition between genres, from drama to comedy to action, has made him one of the most respected and admired actors of his generation. His role as the eccentric patriarch in The Royal Tenenbaums 2001 showcased his comedic talents and earned him another Golden Globe Award. In conclusion, the deaths of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa continue to loom as a significant enigma. A legendary actor, a reclusive wife, a life lived in seclusion, and a suspicious conclusion. Every hypothesis holds the potential to be true or false. That uncertainty is what makes it so unsettling. The truth may very well be buried indefinitely. Leslie Anne Hackman will be haunted for the rest of her life by the weight of unanswered questions. Is she merely a victim, or is she intertwined in the mystery itself? Does she genuinely know nothing, or is she concealing a harsh truth that is too painful to confront? Regardless of whether she discovers the answers, she will spend her entire life overshadowed by suspicion. Hollywood has seen its share of tragedies throughout the years. Figures like Marilyn Monroe, Natalie Wood, and Brittany Murphy are just a few examples. These stars faded quietly amid a whirlwind of rumors and speculation. Are Hackman and Arakawa the latest victims of an unseen force, or are they simply caught in the cruel irony of fate? This tale lacks a definitive ending. It stands as one of many unresolved mysteries etched into Hollywood's history, a place where reality and fiction intertwine, and where the truth is frequently obscured. For those who continue to seek answers, there remains a singular truth. Silence may ultimately be the most profound answer of all. And that's the end of today's episode. Thank you so much for watching. We truly appreciate your time and support. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. All profiles and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. Your engagement means the world to us, and we can't wait to see you in the next video.